Seeing my wife invent another excuse to sneak out at night for her lover was the last straw. The divorce papers were already printed. I sat on the edge of the bed, lit a cigarette, and glanced at the text message her lover had sent me. "Ethan, man, thanks for being so cool about this. Always letting Chloe come over and take care of me late night." I'd lost count of how many times Chloe's little boy toy had sent taunts like that. But this time, I wouldn't explode with anger like before, wouldn't call Chloe in the middle of the night, demanding an explanation. Instead, I calmly replied, "If she cares about you that much, then I'll let you two be happy." I pulled out the divorce papers and laid them on the nightstand. Chloe didn't come home that night. Early the next morning, I tidied up the apartment a bit, planning to go out and clear my head. But just as I was about to leave, the door opened. Chloe walked in, a hint of exhaustion on her face. She gave me an icy look. Same as usual, a bowl of oatmeal and 2 hard-boiled eggs. She paused. "No, wait. Make that 2 bowls of oatmeal and 4 eggs. I need to bring a portion for Liam." She ordered me around, just like always, expecting me to prepare her breakfast. But I just stood there, unmoving. "What are you waiting for? I'm going to be late for work." "I don't have time to waste," she said, her voice growing impatient, a familiar edge of reprimand creeping in. I glanced at the divorce papers on the nightstand. "I don't have time today. And honestly, I don't feel like it." Her eyes widened in disbelief. "Ethan Miller, are you seriously bailing on me now?" Bailing on her? A bitter laugh almost escaped me. For 10 years of marriage, I'd done all the housework. She'd long since taken it for granted, assuming it was my duty. The one day I wasn't willing, she was instantly annoyed, as if I'd defied a direct order. "If you're upset about me going to Liam's last night to take care of him, you don't need to be jealous. I've always seen Liam as a little brother." "Yeah, I know," I said, looking at her calmly, no real emotion stirring within me. "I'm just tired today. I want to rest. Is that okay?" "You'd better be," she snapped, not wanting to argue further. She quickly washed up and headed out the door. I didn't even have a chance to tell her to look at the divorce papers on the nightstand before she was gone. I looked around the empty apartment. Chloe and I were married, but she hadn't even wanted to take wedding photos with me. The only picture we had together was one she'd grudgingly agreed to for her family's sake. In it, she was standing a careful distance from me, a painfully forced smile on her face. Yet, what she treated like trash, I had cherished. I gave a humorless laugh, took the photo down from the wall, and tossed it into the trash can. It was time to end this 10-year charade with Chloe. I once thought 10 years would be enough time for Chloe to change, to maybe even grow to like me, to consider my feelings. But it turned out I was just deluding myself. I'd known about her affair for a long time. To maintain some semblance of dignity in our marriage, I'd repeatedly asked Chloe to keep her distance from Liam Henderson. All I got in return were her angry accusations. She called me sensitive paranoid, said living with me was suffocating, that she had no freedom. Fine. Now, I finally didn't care anymore. I was ready to give her that freedom. Let her and her boy toy have their happily ever after. I sat in the apartment for a while, finishing my cigarette. Finally, I made up my mind and left, buying a plane ticket for an international flight. This trip abroad was something I'd been mulling over for 3 months. The hesitation stemmed from it being a job opportunity overseas. I worried that if I left the country, Chloe would have no one to look after her. Thinking back on it now, my concerns were utterly ridiculous. After landing, the person who met me at the airport was Sarah Chun, a junior from my old university. She was 3 years younger than me, and we hadn't known each other before this. It all happened because I'd won first prize in the Global Animation Showcase. By a stroke of luck, a company called Javelin Animation Studios had noticed my work. The person who contacted me was Sarah, an alumna of my alma mater. "Ethan, I can't believe we went to the same school," she said, her smile bright and youthful. "You're so modest. If our alma mater knew about your award, you'd definitely be hailed as a distinguished alumnus. The news of your win is all over the industry buzz, but who would have guessed you were the one behind it?" She chattered as we walked. I'd entered the competition under a pseudonym, not my real name, so no one knew it was me. "Ethan," she continued, "I'll get you checked in your hotel first. Then we can tour the studio. Our director is really impressed with you. If you join us, the salary and benefits are top-notch." I murmured in acknowledgement, but I kept glancing at my phone. The flight to Dublin had taken 7 hours. Getting through customs into the city took another 2 or 3. All in all, about 10 hours had passed. Yet, there had been no call from Chloe. Had she not seen the divorce papers on the nightstand? I instinctively scrolled through my Facebook feed, and there it was, a post from Liam Henderson. Stomach bug flared up again, so grateful for Chloe dropping everything from work to come take care of me. The accompanying photo showed Chloe, a gentle expression on her face, holding a bowl of what looked like soup, posing with Liam. I silently liked the post. About half an hour later, my phone finally rang. It was Chloe, a hint of anxiety in her voice. "Ethan, don't misunderstand. I'm coming home right now. Don't bother," I said, my voice heavy. Chloe's tone turned icy. "Liam is like a brother to me. His stomach issues flared up, so it's only natural for me to check on him. You know, he had a rough childhood, parents divorced, no one really looks out for him. If I, as his sister, don't care for him, who will?" I let out a silent, bitter laugh. "Your last name is Vance, his is Henderson. How exactly did he become your brother?" My words seemed to hit a nerve, pricking her guilt. She immediately flared up. "Ethan Miller, I've had enough of you. Why are you always so unreasonable? We've been married for 10 years. If I wanted to be with someone else, don't you think it would have happened a long time ago? Did I need to wait until now? And another thing," she continued, her voice rising, "I hate it when you're so passive-aggressive. Have you forgotten who built this life for us? I'm busy day in and day out, and then I have to come home and listen to your snide remarks. As a man, I don't expect you to be the sole breadwinner, but you could at least give me some emotional support, right? You can't offer me neither, can you?" Every time we argued, she always managed to seize the moral high ground and start condemning me. When her company was just starting out, which deals hadn't I been the one to chase down? I'd schmooze clients until I drank myself into an ulcer, worked overtime until dawn. Eventually, my body couldn't take it anymore. She told me to step back, rest at home. And now, somehow, all the success was her doing. She wanted to protect her little lover, but she didn't need to attack me to justify herself. "Yeah, you're right. This time, it was my fault," I said. "I have to go, got something to do." "What do you have to do?" I didn't answer her this time. I just hung up. Sarah, standing beside me, looked completely bewildered. "Ethan, are you?" "It's nothing," I said. Just then, a text from Chloe popped up. "As punishment, I'm staying late at the office all week. Don't you dare beg me to come home." Seeing the message, I felt a slight jolt, but not of panic. This was Chloe's usual tactic. Whenever we had a fight, she'd give me the silent treatment, punishing me by not coming home. In the past, I'd always been the one to grovel, practically begging her to return. Each time, she'd make a public spectacle of my pleading, as if showing off to everyone how I was desperate for her. In her eyes, my dignity was worthless, something she could trample on at will. Thinking about all those times I'd debased myself, it felt utterly absurd. No matter how much you plead with someone who doesn't love you, they won't give you even a sliver of their heart. Not even a tiny bit. I ignored Chloe's message and continued with Sarah to tour Javelin Animation Studios, finalizing my employment details. After about 3 or 4 days of learning about the company, I decided to take the job at this globally renowned studio. We settled the terms, and I signed the contract. I discussed it with the company and arranged to return to Chicago first to handle some personal matters. They had no objections. When I left for the airport, Sarah personally saw me off. It was only then I learned her full name was Sarah Chun. A fitting name. She was indeed beautiful. "Ethan, I hope you come back soon. Safe travels." "Yeah, thanks." I waved goodbye and boarded the plane back to the States. I arrived in Chicago around 5 in the morning. Due to jet lag, I was already feeling exhausted. Forcing myself to stay awake, I took a cab home. When I got to the apartment, I noticed a layer of dust had settled on everything. Clearly, Chloe had stuck to her word and hadn't been home for days. Not that it made much difference whether she was home or not. She never cleaned anyway. I put my things down and instinctively glanced at the divorce papers on the nightstand. They, too, were covered in a fine layer of dust. From start to finish, Chloe hadn't paid them any attention at all. Just then, I heard the sound of a key in the lock. I walked over and opened the door. 2 figures stood in the doorway, along with a strong, unpleasant smell of alcohol. Liam Henderson was propping up Chloe. The moment Liam saw me, a flicker of triumph crossed his face. "Ethan, man, could you move?" Chloe's had a bit too much to drink. Was out with her till the early hours. I nodded, not trying to stop him. He helped Chloe into the bedroom, moving with an air of someone who knew his way around the place, and laid her on the bed. I looked at the intoxicated Chloe. My first instinct was to go make her a hangover remedy, something to sober her up, but I managed to suppress the urge. That wasn't my job anymore. It should be her lover boy's responsibility. "Ethan, where have you been these past few days?" Liam asked, his voice dripping with false concern. "Chloe came home late last night, saw you weren't here, and asked me to go out for a few drinks with her. I told her not to drink so much, but she wouldn't listen." He sighed dramatically. "Ethan, you really shouldn't be like this. Seeing Chloe so wasted. It really breaks my heart." "Oh, it breaks your heart, does it?" I said coolly. "The ingredients for a hangover remedy are in the kitchen. Go make her one." A flash of surprise crossed Liam's face, but he nodded and went to the kitchen. I sat in a chair, my eyes fixed on the divorce papers on the nightstand. After Liam finished making the concoction, he hurried to the bedroom to give it to Chloe. During this time, Chloe threw up several times. Listening to her retching and sounds of discomfort, I knew that in the past, I would have been beside myself with worry, trying everything to make her feel better. But now I felt a profound calm. My face remained impassive. Liam fussed over her for a good 2 or 3 hours, his face finally showing signs of impatience. Meanwhile, overcome by exhaustion, I had fallen asleep on the sofa. I don't know how much time passed, but I vaguely heard a voice. Chloe, after I brought you home, I was the one who made you that hangover drink, got you water, cleaned up your vomit. And Ethan? He was just sleeping on the couch. I really don't know what he's thinking. Before I could even open my eyes, I felt someone kick me. I opened my eyes to see Chloe. She was pale, her expression furious, the prelude to one of her infamous outbursts. I was used to it. Normally, when she looked like that, I'd immediately start trying to appease and soothe her. But now I remained unmoved, meeting her gaze calmly. Ethan Miller, what is your problem? Where have you been these past few days? Playing a disappearing act. I was gone for a few days, and you didn't even call me once. Do you even care about me anymore? She demanded, her eyes welling up as if she were the deeply wronged party. If it weren't for Liam taking care of me, I don't know how I would have gotten through these past few days. You call yourself my husband? You're not even as good as my brother Liam, she said, clearly thinking her words would sting. I felt nothing but a weary, bitter amusement. Liam takes care of her once, and suddenly, in her eyes, that surpasses 10 years of my daily, unwavering devotion. Someone else's single act of service erases all my years of effort. There's a point where your heart just dies, and that's the deepest sorrow. For someone who doesn't love you, no amount of effort will ever be enough. Chloe, 10 years of my devotion, and it doesn't compare to your brother's one-time effort. Is that it? 10 years. I continued, my voice steady. You ask if I still have you in my heart? Don't you know the answer yourself? When you started your company, I was by your side, hustling for business, drinking until I nearly perforated my stomach. When my health failed, you told me to rest at home. You said you liked my cooking, so I made sure you had meals delivered, rain or shine, every single day. 10 years. Even a stone should have warmed by now. Even ice should have melted. But you remained unmoved, only getting worse. So, tell me, is it that I don't have you in my heart? Or is it that you don't have me in yours? After I finished, a quiet calm settled over me. Chloe just stood there, stunned, a look of utter shock on her face. She probably never expected me to talk back. Just then, her lover boy, Liam, suddenly noticed the papers on the nightstand. He picked them up. What's this? Divorce papers? Ethan, man, we're divorcing Chloe? He asked, feigning surprise. I guessed he'd probably seen them long before, just waiting for Chloe to wake up. Chloe saw the divorce papers, her face a mask of disbelief, her lips trembling. Ethan Miller, how dare you? You dare to divorce me? I took a deep breath, steadying myself. Divorcing you is something I decided a long time ago, Chloe. Please sign them. Chloe stared blankly for a few seconds, realizing I wasn't joking. A flicker of panic crossed her face. She was about to speak when Liam cut her off. Ethan, man, Chloe loves you so much. How can you break her heart like this? Chloe loves me? That might be the funniest joke I'd heard all year. Isn't that where you come in? I shot Liam a cold look. I'd encountered manipulative women before, but a manipulative guy pulling the innocent friend act? That was a new one. Liam's brow furrowed slightly. He stepped back beside Chloe and whispered, Chloe, from the looks of it, Ethan's dead set on divorcing you. Then, a little louder for my benefit, sigh, if I had such a wonderful wife, I'd cherish her. I could never imagine divorcing her. His words, seemingly comforting, were actually painting me as a heartless jerk who didn't appreciate Chloe. I cherished her for 10 years, given her 10 years of my life. And for what? I didn't expect Chloe's love to be as intense as mine, but she didn't even offer the basic respect a husband deserves. If that was the case, what was the point of clinging to this marriage? Chloe walked up to me, her eyes red-rimmed, staring at me in disbelief, still unable to accept that I wanted a divorce. Are you seeing someone else? She demanded. No, I answered curtly. Chloe's voice rose with agitation. Then why do you want to divorce me? I instinctively glanced at Liam. She knew the answer to that question better than anyone. Ethan, why are you looking at me? Liam said, his face a perfect mask of innocence and hurt. I certainly didn't tell you to divorce Chloe. I took a deep breath, suddenly feeling an immense weariness. Not physical exhaustion, but a profound heart sickness. Some things, whether said or unsaid, would probably make no difference to Chloe. When you've had time to think it over, we can talk, I said, turning to go back to my room. Ethan Miller, you can forget about a divorce. Over my dead body. Chloe's shout followed me, as if she were the injured party. The moment the door closed, silence descended, a much-needed calm. But it was short-lived. Urgent knocking soon echoed from the other side. Ethan Miller, open this door. We need to talk this out. I didn't respond. Chloe grew more agitated, her knocking escalating to kicks. Chloe, look, your hand is all red from knocking. He doesn't care about you, but I do. Liam's voice, playing the role of the understanding brother again, intervened. Sure enough, Chloe stopped her racket. After a long while, I heard the front door close. I knew Chloe had left with Liam again. It didn't matter anymore. Drowsiness washed over me again, and I lay down on the bed and fell asleep. When I woke up, it was the next morning. I habitually picked up my phone and saw a new message from Liam. Whenever Chloe was with him, he'd send these provocative texts. I was used to it. I calmly opened the message. This time, there were no taunting words, just a photo. It was a picture of two hands, tightly clasped. I recognized one of them instantly as Chloe's. In 10 years of marriage, Chloe had never held my hand like she was holding his in that picture. I laughed at myself, a bitter, self-deprecating sound. Maybe I'd been a joke all along. Exiting the message, I idly scrolled through my Facebook feed. Around 3 in the morning, Liam had posted, Every time I see Chloe this drunk, my heart aches for her. The accompanying photo was of Chloe, fast asleep. It was nauseating. I got up, made myself something simple to eat, and then headed to the law office run by my friend, Kevin Zhang. Kevin and I had met in college, and we'd always been close. He was now a reasonably well-known lawyer. Ethan, what brings you here today? You're a rare sight. Kevin greeted me warmly as soon as he saw me, offering me a seat and asking his secretary to get me a coffee. Sorry for just dropping in. Hope I'm not interrupting anything, I said. We chatted for a bit, catching up before I got to the point. I actually came to ask for your help with something. I told Kevin my reason for being there. Kevin looked a little surprised, frowning. You love Chloe so much. Are you sure you want to go through with a divorce? When it's over, it's over. What's there to be reluctant about? I forced a smile. Kevin clapped me on the shoulder, offering no empty platitudes, just saying he respected my decision. After leaving Kevin's office, I went to Chloe's company. Whenever Chloe and I had problems, she'd avoid them, leaving me to process everything alone. But not this time. When I arrived at the company, Chloe was in a meeting, so I sat in her office to wait. Come to think of it, I had spent days and nights designing this office for her. Even the decorative items were carefully chosen by me. Anyone could see how much effort I'd put into her and for her. Only she couldn't. After about an hour, Chloe walked in, heels clicking. She probably hadn't slept well last night. Even with makeup, her exhaustion was palpable. When Chloe saw me, she paused, then quickly put on her usual aloof expression. I was starting to think you really didn't want this wife anymore. She probably thought I was there to apologize. I placed a newly printed copy of the divorce agreement on her desk, getting straight to the point. Sign it when you've thought it through. I don't want a dime from you. The house was bought with money from my parents. I'll sell it and pay them back. Silence hung in the air. Chloe didn't react for a long moment. Then the office door opened again, and Liam Henderson walked in, holding a cup of coffee. Chloe, your coffee. Liam froze when he saw me. He was surprised by my presence, but I wasn't surprised he was there. Chloe had mentioned before about wanting Liam to work at the company. I'd objected, and Chloe had called me petty, saying it was her company and her decision. What could I do when she said that? Chloe rushed over, snatched the divorce papers, tore them in half, and threw them into the trash can. I told you if you want a divorce, it'll be over my dead body. Chloe, stop kidding yourself. The person you love isn't me. You should be happy about getting a divorce, right? I didn't want to see her put on this act. If she had cared about me even a little, we wouldn't have reached this point. Chloe bit her lower lip hard, her eyes glistening with tears. Chloe, don't cry. Liam put the coffee on the table, grabbed a couple of tissues, and hurried over to her. He tried to wipe her tears, but she stopped him sharply. Don't touch me. You can leave now. Liam froze, a look of surprise flashing across his face. I was just as surprised as he was. This was the first time Chloe had ever rejected her so-called brother. Chloe, I'm worried about you, Liam said, retracting his hand, his expression turning pitiable again. He really was an expert at playing the victim. What's there to worry about? Have you finished the work I gave you? Chloe's tone was noticeably colder, her attitude far from the warmth she usually showed him. Liam was clearly unhappy. He glanced at me and said softly, Chloe, he's about to divorce you. Why won't you let go? He was relentlessly trying to drive a wedge between Chloe and me. But whatever he said, I didn't care, nor would I engage with him. Chloe's eyes turned icy, her voice low. This is my business, and it's not your place to interfere. If you don't want to work here anymore, then pack your things and leave." Her words fell into a sudden silence in the office. I never would have expected her to say something like that to Liam. Had she finally woken up and seen this brother for who he really was? Liam didn't dare vent his anger on Chloe, so he turned to me. "Ethan Miller, if you dare make Chloe cry again, I won't let you get away with it." Now, he wasn't even bothering to pretend anymore. I smiled. "Me divorcing her actually does you two a favor, doesn't it? You should be thanking me." Liam wanted to say more, but after seeing the look in Chloe's eyes, he immediately shut up and retreated from the office, clearly unwilling. Chloe walked over to me, speaking in a tone of rare gentleness. "Ethan, I know I was wrong. Can we not get divorced, please?" 10 years. This was the first time she had ever admitted fault to me. I couldn't help but feel a stir of emotion, but I suppressed it. "You weren't wrong. I shouldn't have been so controlling." Chloe's brow furrowed deeper. She reached out to take my hand, but I pulled away. "I know you're still angry about Liam. I promise I won't see him alone anymore. If you don't want to see him, I'll have him leave the company immediately." She sounded very serious when she said this. It was clear she meant it. But a long overdue sincerity couldn't undo years of hurt she had inflicted on me. So, I didn't need this sincerity. "Your hands have held someone else's. Don't try to hold mine again. I'm particular that way." When did I ever hold someone else's hand? I knew she would deny it. I directly showed her the photo Liam had sent. The evidence was irrefutable, yet Chloe still tried to argue. "I didn't. Liam must have taken that photo secretly." Whether it was secretly taken or not didn't matter to me anymore. I put my phone away and stood up to leave. "I believe Liam can take better care of you. I'll wait for you to sign." With that, I walked out. Chloe tried to follow me, but just then her secretary came in, needing her signature on an urgent document, which prevented her from chasing after me. I reached the elevator bank and suddenly needed the restroom, so I detoured there first. Just as I stepped into a stall, I heard footsteps outside, followed by Liam Henderson's voice. "What's so great about that Ethan Miller anyway? Chloe just refuses to divorce him. I heard that when Vance Innovations was just starting up, Ethan Miller helped her land several major deals," replied another voice, which sounded like the HR manager hired not too long ago. Although I didn't work at the company anymore, I still had a general idea of what went on. "This divorce? It's a done deal," Liam declared confidently. The HR manager sounded surprised. "How can you be so sure?" "I'll tell you, but keep it to yourself, okay? Actually, Chloe and I have slept together. She even told me herself that she likes me. As for Ethan Miller, she just sees him as a free housekeeper." Liam's voice was full of smug satisfaction as he said this. "Wow, I wouldn't have guessed. You're quite the operator, kid." The two of them walked out of the restroom, laughing and talking. I had recorded their entire conversation. The hand holding my phone was trembling uncontrollably. Even though I had long suspected the truth about Chloe and Liam's relationship, hearing him say it out loud still sent a sharp, stabbing pain through my heart. The woman I had loved for 10 years was actually capable of this. I don't know how long I stayed in the restroom before I finally came out, walking out in a daze. "Ethan," Chloe suddenly appeared, blocking me from getting into the elevator. Looking at her now, I felt a wave of nausea. "Will you just listen to me, please? There's nothing left for us to say." I stepped directly into the elevator, and Chloe followed me in. She clutched my arm tightly, hissing, "This is the company. Can you at least give me some face?" She'd done that with Liam Henderson, and she was worried about face? I stared hard in her eyes. "Did you sleep with Liam Henderson?" Chloe's body tensed. She immediately denied it. She always needed irrefutable proof before she'd admit anything. I played the recording I'd just made. Her face instantly turned deathly pale. "I was drunk that day. I had no idea what I was doing. Those were just drunk words, not what I really meant." Chloe desperately tried to explain. "They say drunk words are sober thoughts." But according to her, that wasn't the case now. I pulled my arm away from her grasp, disgusted. "You make me sick," I said calmly. "Ethan Miller, didn't you say you loved me? Just because I accidentally made one mistake, you're going to divorce me?" Chloe grew frantic, starting to pour out her grievances. "All these years, I've worked myself to the bone. Wasn't it all so we could have a better life? Can't you be a little more understanding? Even if I did sleep with Liam, he only got my body. My heart has always been yours." I was truly floored by Chloe's shameless pronouncements. I almost wanted to give her a sarcastic thumbs up. "Your heart? It's worthless," I spat out, then bolted from the elevator, giving Chloe no chance to cling to me. Back at the apartment, I pulled several bottles of red wine from the cabinet and started drinking alone, thinking about this marriage. I was such a failure. Couldn't win Chloe's heart, couldn't even keep her faithful. I don't know how much I drank, but I ended up passing out on the sofa. I was jolted awake by my phone ringing. The moment I opened my eyes, my head throbbed. I glanced at the caller ID, Kevin Jong. I answered, and his deep voice came through the line. Ethan, your wife's gone viral. Huh? What's going on? I was completely disoriented. Quick, check the link I sent you. After hanging up, I immediately opened my messages. Kevin had indeed sent me a link. The headline alone was shocking. Local CEO's affair with male subordinate exposed. Husband confronts her at office. I clicked the link. Besides the salacious text, there was a video, our conversation in the elevator from that morning. Clearly, someone had maliciously uploaded it to the internet. I skimmed the comments. Most were trashing Chloe, with a few criticizing me as well. The video had spread like wildfire. Chloe's line, "He only got my body, my heart has always been yours," was trending all over local social media. Someone commented it deserved a spot in the classic cheater excuses Hall of Fame. I just found it pathetically laughable. Later, I texted Kevin, "Can I use this to sue for divorce?" Kevin replied, "Absolutely, and she'll likely leave with nothing." Since Chloe was unwilling to agree to a divorce, I had no choice but to sue. Soon, Chloe came home. After such a huge scandal, she probably couldn't bear to stay at the company any longer. She walked in, kicked off her heels, and approached me with a haggard look. Seeing me on my phone, she probably guessed what I was looking at. "You saw the news, didn't you?" "Yeah," I replied coolly. "I'm being trashed like this online, and you're not even going to try and comfort me?" Chloe looked drained, utterly devoid of her usual spirit. "You brought this on yourself. In this whole mess, I was the biggest victim. Her getting slammed online, she absolutely deserved it." Chloe tried to hug me. I quickly stood up, putting distance between us, and retreated into the bedroom. She stood at the door, knocking relentlessly, apologizing and admitting her mistakes. I found her noise irritating, so I put on my headphones and went back to sleep. When I woke up the next day, I thought Chloe would be gone, so I started packing my things. But when I came out of the bedroom, I saw her sitting at the dining table, and on the table was my favorite breakfast. "Ethan, you're awake. Come, have some breakfast." I made all of this myself. She'd cooked for me personally. It was almost unbelievable, but I could guess the reason. To say I felt nothing would be a lie. She was, after all, a woman I had once loved deeply. If only she had treated me like this in the past, how different things might have been. "No, thanks. I still need to pack," I said, my expression remaining cold. "Pack? What for?" Chloe looked stunned. Things had come to this point. There was no need to hide it from her anymore. I told her about the job in Dublin. Chloe was dumbfounded. She shot up from her chair and rushed towards me, almost frantic. "When did this happen? Why didn't you tell me?" "I was going to tell you, but you were busy on a date with Liam at the time." "It doesn't matter anymore, though. We're getting divorced anyway." The thought of leaving this place, this life, brought an unexpected wave of relief. Chloe kept insisting she wouldn't divorce me. I tuned her out, continuing to pack my belongings. Over the next few days, Chloe either went to the office or came straight home on time. She even cooked for me. However, because the news of her affair was still raging online, her company's image had plummeted. Businesses that had previously partnered with her were now pulling out one by one. Her company was teetering on the brink of collapse. Desperate, Chloe came home one evening and asked me to step in and help. After all, I had been the one to negotiate most of the company's major partnerships. I looked at Chloe calmly. "Why don't you ask Liam Henderson for help? You seem to value him so much, didn't you?" Chloe hesitated, then quickly changed the subject. "We were married, after all. Can't you just help me this one time?" "Chloe, people need to learn when enough is enough." I felt I'd done more than enough for her over the years, fulfilling every obligation. Because she was home every day now, I had to find another place to stay. I'd already packed everything I needed. Once the divorce was finalized, I could leave for Dublin. Chloe called me many times, but I didn't answer. Eventually, I just blocked her number. Perhaps because she couldn't reach me, she had Liam text me. He launched into a tirade, calling me less than a man, and declared that no matter what happened, he would always be by Chloe's side. I had to laugh. I had a strong suspicion Liam himself was instrumental in leaking that video of Chloe and me to the internet. "Well, I wish you two a long and happy life together," I texted back. After sending that message, I blocked him too. Finally, some peace and quiet. Just before the court date, I heard that Chloe's company had gone bankrupt. I didn't feel happy about it. Instead, there was a pang of sadness, probably because I had poured so much of my own effort into that company. At the hearing, Liam Henderson accompanied Chloe. He stood beside her like a triumphant victor. I felt nothing. The court ruled that Chloe would leave the marriage with nothing. Now, she truly had lost everything. Leaving the courthouse, I felt no lingering attachment as I got into the car headed for the airport. Over the past few days, I had taken care of everything that needed to be handled, including selling the house. I'd also made arrangements for my parents. There was nothing left for me here. Ethan, Chloe suddenly tapped on the car window. I looked at her, surprised. Yes. Can you take me with you? To Dublin. Chloe's voice was earnest, reminiscent of the young woman who had once said she wanted to marry me. It was a pity that times had changed. She was no longer that innocent young woman. We're divorced, Chloe. You should start a new life, I said. As I spoke, I glanced at Liam, who was hovering nearby, and added a pointed remark. Even though the company is bankrupt, some things can still be investigated. Driver, let's go. Chloe was a smart woman. She would understand my meaning. As I boarded the plane to Dublin, it signified a final goodbye to my past. When I arrived, I was pleasantly surprised to find that Sarah Chun had already arranged everything for me. I quickly adapted to the new company and achieved some good results. During this time, I did receive a call from Chloe. She said she had found out it was Liam who leaked the video online and that she had completely broken off with him. She then asked if she could come find me. I told her I had a new girlfriend and that she shouldn't contact me anymore. Although Sarah wasn't officially my girlfriend yet, I had a feeling she soon would be.